I'm Laura Machesky and I'm a professor in the Department of Biochemistry, running a lab of 10 people interested in pancreatic cancer and cell migration. Our questions are about how the stiffness of pancreatic tumours might drive pancreatic tumours to be more aggressive. All solid tumours have this kind of property of being stiff, and if people have heard before about feeling a lump for cancer, it's sometimes because the tissue is stiff. And so we're interested in how the cells of the tumour sense the stiffness and how they respond to it. And we think that we have found some interesting insights into how that stiffness might drive tumours to be more aggressive.
I work on mitochondria's role in basic migration. So what my work looks at is how mitochondria might relocalize to provide energy specifically for where that cell needs to remodel so that it can invade and become metastatic.
We are trying to understand the mechanosensing and how cells can sense their substrate. So for example, here I have the different types of, like in this tiny kind of florid dishes, we make different stiffnesses of hydrogels, and we try to mimic the different stiffnesses of different tissues. And we see when we put pancreatic cancer cells on them, then how do they behave? How do they migrate? How do they proliferate? I'm going to put the cells in different stiffnesses, and then we will see what happens to the cell by doing some amazing microscopy.
So this is a cancer cell, and here you can see that the red ones, they are the actin. They form the skeleton of the cell. They allow the cell to move around and things like that. And here you can see the blue ones that stains the DNA of the cell. So now you can see it's staining the nucleus of the cell.
I like to think that my lab and my research actually kind of spans quite a few areas in terms of very fundamental science of how individual genes and proteins work at the molecular level, and then how that works in a cell to cause a cell to behave differently, to maybe move or invade in the case of a cancer cell, all the way to how a tumour, in our case pancreatic tumours, can invade into tissues in the body or spread from the pancreas to the liver or the lungs or other parts of the body. It's super important for us to be able to answer fundamental questions about how cells work, because tumours are made of cells, our body is made of cells. And so if we understand normal cells and cancer cells at those basic molecular levels, then we have a much better chance of understanding what happens in a tumour and of designing therapies that are more intelligent and hopefully more effective as well.